Hey guys, we have a problem with my new bag. I'm going to go ahead and do an unpacking video on it and show you what I have in it. But then I'm going to show you why I can't use it. So, first things first, we'll get to the two water bottles. Now we're going on either side. Okay, that was going on either side. My poncho was to be tied to the outside on the very bottom. Okay, it might have fit in with the sleeping bag, which I took the black bag out eventually because it was just too bulky and heavy. I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't get food or anything in the bag after all said and done. So I decided, well, okay, I'll just take the black bag out and leave the patrol bag and the bivy cover, and that worked. And I got it all packed up. I even made a video about it, but I'm gonna have to erase the video because I've changed some more stuff since then. So I'll have to just get rid of that video and replace it with this one. So, but we'll go into the front, the very top compartment that's on the lid. I'll show it to you real quick. Right here, this part. Okay. I don't have a wide angle lens. I wish I did so that I could get like a bigger shot so I can unpack it where you could see everything without me looking like I was like 10 miles away. So the bag construction itself, the material that is, the material in the bag is good. Okay. It seems pretty strong, but I'm having another issue which I'll tell you about. First of all, in the top compartment I have my Mora knife, mosquito head net, the new and improved first aid kit Bugout kit combo, because I couldn't fit that big one I used to have. It just wasn't coming. It wasn't fitting. I had a problem with all my stuff fitting because I had overestimated the capacity of the bag and the strength of my bag. Okay, it just wasn't going to work because it was just too heavy and too bulky, and there's no way I could go anywhere in that. Really, I mean, I suppose I could if I absolutely had to, but I wouldn't have had any room for food, and then plus adding the water weight on top of it, it would have just been almost impossible. Okay, pair of gloves in the top compartment, a hat with a neck cover to shade the back of your neck so you don't get sunburned, because sunburn is a big problem. Snake bite kit, and two headlamps inside this cigarette case. Now, I had to go through all those kits and not discard, I didn't throw it away, but I had to go through all those kits and see, I got my headlamp. I had to take, I don't know how much stuff out. I got spare batteries in the side little zipper compartment. I had to take, I don't know how much stuff out, okay, because it just wasn't, it was too heavy, too bulky, too much everything. So I can see why people go buy. I can see why people fix up all those little micro kits, because you know this only weighs a couple of ounces probably, but it doesn't seem like these things would weigh that much, you know. But when you get them all put together, it adds up in a hurry. So okay, now I'm going to get on to the main compartment of the bag, and on top is toilet paper. Okay, now this toilet paper isn't like your stuff. This is like commercial type toilet paper. It has no core. Okay, this is just a little dent. A friend of mine was changing out one of those big rolls, and she had this little leftover roll, and I said, "What are you gonna do with that?" I said, "Can I have that put in my camping bag?" Because she said, "Yeah, sure." So she gave it to me. And I like it because it has no core, so there's no wasted space in the middle. It says all toilet paper. Now, that being said, it's all single-ply toilet paper, which means it's not really great toilet paper, but you know what? It's better than leaves or rocks, right? Okay. Next in there is my Canteen Cup with my lid, and it was empty. Okay. A map of New Mexico, which is where I was going to go camping, in a Ziploc baggie. I really took a lot of stuff out. I mean a lot. Okay, now this is my fishing kit. I condensed it down, put a different 8-pound test, lightened it up, took all the, a big portion of the stuff out of there, including the fishing weights, because that lead weights, they just added up. And now it fits into a half, you know, this is my hand. That's how big my fishing kit is now. Now, I'm going to have a second bag. I'm going to have a different kit, a duffel bag or something with all the stuff that I took out. I'm going to put in that bag, and I'm going to have it where I can grab it, especially if I could bug out in a vehicle. But if I have to just bug out on my back, with my backpack on my back, then no, I'm not going to take all that stuff because I just can't carry it. If I had a wagon or a hand truck or a bicycle with a trailer, that's a whole nother story. But I took out the axes and all that kind of stuff, and I just put in this Corona folding saw. It's not the best quality. I really want to get a Silky Gone Boy, but the 270, I think. Anyway, this is what I have, so this is what I'm using. Now, underneath this plastic, in here, you can see it's got a metal stopper, so it shouldn't split this plastic, which is a big issue, right? Especially with the super cheap ones. And this one's a fairly cheap one, but I hope it works. If it doesn't work, we'll find out soon enough. I've been researching my trip to the Gila National Forest. They got 3 or 4 hot springs there. I may go to one of those. Just baby myself a little. Okay, now this is the belt kit that I just did a video on. You know, go back for everything that's in here. It's a fire kit and my Leatherman Wave and some different things. If you want to see what all's in here, go look at that video. Okay, this was the heaviest thing in my pack, other than the sleeping system. This thing weighs 3, maybe 4 pounds. I don't know, I'm guessing. But that was the heaviest thing in my bag. Now this is my rope kit, my cordage kit. And I took out the mule tape, and I left 3 hanks of paracord. I took and put a bunch of number 36 bank line on a little homemade cardboard spool, because I had a big roll of it, but it was just too bulky. And then I kept the little thing of fine wire, because you never know when you can use something like that for snares or fixing something or tying something together. And in the little bag that was in there, I got rid of almost everything. I got rid of 2 of the tarp clips and only kept 2. Okay. I got rid of 1 of the tighteners, and I got rid of 2 of the S-biners. So it lightened it up. I figured I'd go down to about half on that and see how that worked. And I actually put the backpack on this morning and walked around with it and carried it for about 20 minutes, seeing how it felt. I couldn't seem to get it adjusted quite right, because that just takes a little bit more fine tuning. In here was also the tarp, which is one of those 5x7s, which is not big enough, from Walmart. And in this thing is my water filter, my Sawyer Mini. Okay, it's in this. I did have my fishing tackle in this, but I took it out. And I also have my tea ball, which I can use for coffee or making teas or, you know, whatevers. And I also put in here, I put my eating utensils. They wouldn't fit down in my coffee pot. And in my little bag here, I took out that bar pourer thing, and I left my twig sharpener. I have another one in my kit. I figured I'd have an extra one, and then I have this cork, and then 2 of those 20-ounce soda pop bottle tops, because if you are scrounging in an SHTF situation and you need something to carry water in, you probably find a bottle, but finding a lid for that bottle might be an issue, because people throw that away. And, so I keep that now in this little zipper case. Now on my repair and maintenance kit, I combined it to also be my sharpening kit, which now it has a sharpening stone, the sharpening steels, and that's it. And then I have in here, instead of that big huge spool of sinew, I made a small spool of it I still have the spool of thread. I took out most of the safety pins and just put a few in there with those razor blades and the threaders. I kept the Eyeglass Repair Kit. Now I put a bunch of needles in here. I took out all the little needles and just left the bigger ones. There's more than that. There's a whole bunch of them in here. But if they didn't fit in here, they didn't go. Okay. And I have my little seam ripper, which I may end up having to use here pretty quick. I took out the roll of duct tape that I had smashed flat, and I put about 3 foot on a little spool. Okay. Still have this sewing thread. I took out the sewing awl, but I left the thread in there because I can sew with it. Okay. And then I still have one thing of regular stuff like buttons, and then 2 shoelaces. And that was what I changed out of my repair kit, and my maintenance kit was combined together to make one small kit, because everything was just too bulky and too big and too much. So, you know, I guess we all live and learn, right? Because, you know, I had to learn the hard way. You can't have what you always want, right? Now, in my stuff, I made this into my personal hygiene kit. Little makeup bag. I've still got the washcloth that go over my eyes for sleep. I took out the big bar soap and put a little hotel bar soap in there. If it should hit the fan, I can make soap. So I left my tweezers, toenail clippers, excuse me, in case I had to break, if I broke off a nail into the quick and there was still a tag there and I needed to trim it off. I don't really want to take my knife and start carving on my thumbnail or fingernail. So I still have a small brush, just one, toothbrush and toothpaste, Blistex, a pair of ear plugs, and 3 hair bands. And that's all that managed to survive out of my girly kit. Because I lightened it up as well. I got rid of the second brush and the second toothbrush and the redundancies is what I did. Because I just couldn't have them. This is my clothing kit. This is a large Crown Royal bag. You know how much I like those because I have a bunch of them. Now in here, let me get this untied. Now one thing I didn't skimp on was my gloves, okay? I have a pair of cloth gloves in here. Now these I'm going to be using around when I'm cooking and stuff because they're cotton gloves, so they won't melt. Okay, I've got this little head wrap. I got this when I was riding a motorcycle because you can slip it over your head and it keeps your hair and sweat out of your face. Okay, I've got a spare pair of nylon socks. Now these socks are in case I start getting a blister. I can put these on underneath my wool socks, which I'll be wearing. I did keep the set of suspenders because I don't want my pants to fall down. And I've got the towel, this little chamois towel looking thing. And in here I have 2 pair of wool socks. I have my Long John bottoms are Polar Tech. They're real thin, silk weight, which is what I plan on sleeping in. I have a synthetic shirt, sleeveless. That's what I intend on sleeping in. Or I may need to wear those when I'm washing what I'm wearing because I didn't end up having enough room to put in a spare change of pants. Then I've got 2 pair of underwear and a beanie. And I'm not going to show you my underwear, okay? You don't want to see those anyway. Okay, that's that. Now, in my cooking kit, which is my cook pot. Now this was a bag that went over a set of sheets that my son had gotten because he needed new sheets for his bed. He gave it to me. The reason I wanted it was because when you're cooking with a cook pot or a pan, the pot gets black and nasty, right? And if you have to move camps, you want to put that black nasty pan in your bag or next to your stuff. No. So I figured if I put it in this bag, keep my stuff inside my pack cleaner. Now inside I have my Kevlar glove. That keeps you from getting cut as easy. And then I have coffee and sugar, because this is my coffee pot too. This is enough for 10 or 11 pots. I was getting ready to go camping, and this is sugar for the coffee and whatever, oatmeal, different things. I was getting ready to go camping, and I was having difficulty getting my food in the bag, because I'm not gonna go hunting and stuff like that. It's in New Mexico, and I don't have a hunting license or a fishing license for New Mexico, and they charge so much for people that are out of state, it's unreal. So I figured since I'm basically just going camping, I'll just take my food. It looks like I'm not going to be able to do all that, so I don't know. We'll see. And then here is my sleep system. Like I said, I took out the big black bag, the big thick one, and I put the ranger bag and the patrol bag together. I rolled them up, put a compression strap around the middle, and then put them in here, put 2 more compression straps around the outside on the sides, compressed it down, and then took the compression straps that were on the bag and squished it long ways to make about the size of a basketball. Okay. It just, I mean, I managed to get it in there, okay? I did manage to get it in there, and it fit. And I could get it in and out, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But it went so far up into the pack that I didn't have room for hardly anything else. Not that stuff didn't weigh a lot anyway. And then, of course, the black bag probably weighs, 5 pounds. And so I figured this was about half the weight than the black bag was. And last but not least here. And of course I'll have a jacket with me. So I'll have that, the Polar Tech, my clothes, and then I had taken and rolled up these 2 windshield reflectors, okay, to make a sleeping pad out of. But I had decided to take those out and get rid of them and not use them and just use this reflective blanket. This is the one kind that has this is not the cheap dollar one. This is the one that's got like the tarp on. It's like a tarp instead of one of those little $1 thin space blankets. So I was going to, I don't have a pad to go under my sleeping system. So I figured what I'd do is I'd pile up leaves or boughs or whatever, grasses, whatever was there handy, and then put this over the top of it with the silver side facing me. And it's big enough I can fold it over the top of me. So I'm in a taco, basically, of reflective material if it got cold. Because it's like 6,000 elevation where I plan on going. So they're getting down into the upper 30s and low 40s at night. So it gets pretty cool. This one should be okay, especially with what I'm wearing, and then this should be fine. Now, let's get to the bag, because this, Houston, is a problem. Okay, I packed it and repacked it and packed it and repacked it and lightened it up and pared everything down and repacked it, tried it on, adjusted it, tried it back on, adjusted it some more, and I was messing around with it for 3 or 4 days now. Okay, so finally I thought, okay, I've got it pretty close, right? We're about ready to go. And I was going to make a new video showing you all this stuff, which is fine, and then having it complete and ready for me to go camping in. And then I noticed that you can see this, it's starting to come unsewed right there. It's starting to rip out. And I hadn't even hiked with it yet. So, oh, and the other thing that was wrong with it is and I found that out today, is the buckle for the belt. Watch. Really? I took a deep breath and it busted open. So this is not going to work. This buckle will not work. Now I can replace the buckle. Okay. And I can re-sew this in the back here. That's not a problem. As a matter of fact, what I'd like to do is move them in towards each other just a little bit and re-sew them anyway. But I'm not going to buy something and pay you know, my son, excuse me, I didn't do it. My son bought it for me, and then have to fix it. So I contacted the people, wish.com, which is who I got the bag from. And they said, give them 2 to 3 days to get back to me. Well, they were back to me in an hour. And they said, I had sent them pictures of it and told them the whistle didn't work. You know, that was funny with Gizzy. Anyway, so they said, well, you know, if you want a refund, just say, I want a refund. And so I said, okay, I want a refund, right? So within an hour, they said, refund's been processed. It should be in your bank within 14 days. But they haven't told me what they want me to do with the backpack. Now, you know, shipping it all the way back to China is probably not going to be feasible for them financially. And I'm almost willing to bet money they're just going to say keep it. But until they do, I'm not going to do anything else with it. That's why I unpacked it right now and did the video of everything that I had in it. I had to learn how to adjust one because I'd never used one of these before. So I went online and looked at some videos on how to adjust a backpack to fit you. This thing here, I think it's really made for a great big long-bodied person because I've got it pretty well cinched down and it's still, my torso is not long enough, really. But, and then it cuts in pretty hard right through here, even with the chest strap. Now, if I tighten up this thing way down to pull this to where it's running pretty close, the chest strap I can't use because it's under my chest and it's wider there and it can't buckle. So if I do that, I have to add a different chest strap, one on the next section up, because they have it way down here, and I think it was probably supposed to be in the middle one, but they have it way down on the bottom one, and it just doesn't it just doesn't fasten across my abdomen there. So I have to adjust it to where it goes up right about here so that I can pull it in to get it out of my armpits. But I could fix that too. That's not a problem. It's not like I can't sew things. I can sew it by hand if nothing else. But we're going to see what they say about what they want me to do with the backpack. If they basically wash their hands of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this loose, take both of these shoulder straps loose, and I'm going to move them in to where they're about a 1/2 inch apart. And that's going to move, excuse me. Again. I swallowed wrong. Oh my gosh. So, I'm going to move them in. Let me put you on hold for just a second. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to move these two in closer together. I'm going to make them about that far apart. The reason being is because I guess they're for a great big guy, maybe with big wide shoulders. And I have, you know, pretty good sized shoulders for a girl, but those things are so wide, they run right on the top of my bone right here rather than right across the collarbone where they really need to be. So I may end up doing that if they wash their hands of it. If they want it back, they're going to have to pay the shipping because I don't have a car. How am I supposed to go to the post office? So anyway, so this is my drama for the day. I mean, if I have to, I'll put all this stuff in a plastic tote and go camping in a tent, no hiking, and just take a little backpack for a day hike or something and camp out in a tent, you know, and that's not a problem. And I can still do things like I can work with the ferro rod and I can make a debris shelter. And I actually, oh God, I'll make another video on that, and that way it'd be totally different. But I can do all that and make videos for you. We'll see how things work out. And if you guys would hit the thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, you know, tell your friends, check out my links down below. I'd certainly appreciate it. And y'all come back and see me.